Welcome back, everybody, to A Young Review in Sports. My name is James Irvin, and a lot has happened over the weekend in the NFL. Some big moves, the Ravens making a move, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers making a move. We'll get both into those. So, of course, I gotta make a video about it to cover, give my thoughts and opinions, and then we can go watch some Bears-Rams football. Should be a good game. I got the Rams, by the way. So let's start off with the biggest move, I feel. The Buccaneers have signed Antonio Brown. This is the second time Antonio Brown has joined a Patriots team. He joined once in New England. And now the question is, can he keep his emotions in check? Because he's a pretty talented wide receiver. Let's just look at his numbers before his personality took over and he did a bunch of stupid stuff and ruined things for him. He had 837 catches, 11,207 yards, 74 touchdowns with Pittsburgh. That's pretty good. With Big Ben, he had the three Bs. He had Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Big Ben Roethlisberger. So he's a great player. And I can separate personal stuff to on the field stuff. Like, you can do stuff off the field that I may not agree with, but I can admit you're a pretty good football player. And Antonio Brown's a pretty good football player. And so, again, the question is, can he keep his emotions in check? Recorded a phone call. He got frostbite. He didn't want to wear the helmet. He just did a bunch of stupid things in Oakland, just ruined it. And then he went to New England for one game. His stats for that one game, 4 catches, 56 yards, and a touchdown. That's pretty good for your first game in a new system and Tom Brady throwing you the football. He had a couple of drops, but, again, it was a new system. I felt like you'd give him time. I felt like if the New England Patriots kept Antonio Brown and Tom Brady could be one of the greatest duos of all time. And let's not forget, Antonio Brown was pretty much the wide receiver of the decade. He put up good numbers. And Tom Brady may still be in New England, but instead he's in Tampa. So let's just hope he doesn't punch someone in the face or complain to his coach or something to get him kicked off, because he is still a talented wide receiver. He could be a great number 2 receiver for the Packers. And right now, the Tampa Bay's number 3 receiver, number 4 if you want to count Gronk in there, is because Gronkowski is starting to produce. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Leonard Fournette, Gronkowski. They are just doing the opposite of what New England did, and that's getting Tom Brady weapons. You want to keep the GOAT happy. You keep him happy so he can stay there. New England, right now, is struggling with Cam Newton, and the Buccaneers are flourishing. I didn't think that'd be until week 9, but it turns out it was week 6, the kickoff point against my Green Bay Packers, blowing them out. So this has just been, that's a great move. That's a great move for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But can Antonio Brown control himself enough to stay on the football field and not get himself kicked out of the league? We'll see. And then another big move. Yannick Ngakoue was traded from the Minnesota Vikings to the Baltimore Ravens. And we know Ngakoue is a good player. He was on that 2017 Jacksonville team that I thought was going to win the Super Bowl that year. He's to the Ravens. So the Ravens now are all in on a Super Bowl. They won. They got Calais Campbell. They got Yannick Ngakoue. They got rid of the cancer in the locker room, which was Earl Thomas, which is what he was at that point. He's a good football player, just had some, again, off-the-field drama, so they had to get him out of the locker room, who's still a free agent. But let's not talk about Ngakoue right now, because we know he's a good player. I think this is more about Minnesota. The roster is getting older. Harrison Smith getting older. How much does Adam Thielen have left? I mean, you do have a star receiver in Justin Jefferson coming out, but does Kirk Cousins have much more of it? I don't know if he does, because we've seen these last few games. This year, this should have been exactly the same. It should have been Green Bay 12-4, 11-5, to Minnesota 11-5, 10-6. Those two battling over the division again. But right now, Minnesota is slipping, and I feel that's because of Kirk Cousins' play. He didn't play too good against the Colts. The coaching staff made a questionable decision against the Seattle Seahawks. They should have won that game. So I think this is about Minnesota tanking more than it is about the Ngakoue trade Ravens Super Bowl. So they tank. They can get at least Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields, and we'll see how Trey Lance does in his showcase game. Because maybe Trey Lance, Zach Wilson out of BYU is coming up. So there's a bunch of quarterbacks, but I think the thing is with Minnesota, their roster's just getting older and older. They were playing for the Super Bowl right now. They didn't get it. They cycled through Case Keenum, Sam Bradford, and Kirk Cousins, and neither one of them could bring them a Super Bowl. So I think now they're tanking. They're trying to get that franchise guy that can hold on forever, because Minnesota already gave him his guaranteed $84 million. He already got his money. So now they're losing. The roster is getting older, but you have the star in Justin Jefferson. The pieces are still there, Minnesota. This can be a down year. Get your quarterback, sit him for a few weeks like they did with Justin Herbert. Maybe he comes out. But I think Minnesota is tanking this year. I think it's going to be an off year for them. I think they're looking to get back to the playoffs because the pieces are there, but that roster is only getting older. That offensive line is only getting worse. So, yeah. Antonio Brown, keep his motions checked. Great player. Can set up the Buccaneers for a potential Super Bowl run. Ngakoue to the Ravens to set them up for a potential Super Bowl run. And Minnesota tanking this year to try and get their future quarterback because the 3 quarterbacks they have, or they've cycled through, is not working out. Pieces are there, but that roster is only getting older for them. I think they got to start getting younger. Thank you for listening.